Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Customers at a Hobart news agency have had a lucky escape after a car ploughed through the front window of the business. The incident left much of the shop in pieces and the owner devastated. But emergency crews say it could have been much worse.
A car jammed inside a destroyed shopfront surrounded by shards of shattered glass. This the recovery effort after a vehicle slammed through the window of the Blackmans Bay news agency this morning.
We're just serving a customer and then all of a sudden we hear this loud revving sound and next thing you know my showroom's a car park.
The elderly male driver of the blue Hyundai shaken but escaping serious injury. At the time, the owner was inside with another staff member and a customer, luckily all standing away from the window.
I'm pretty shaken up at the start, yeah. The adrenaline's starting to wear off now.
We got called here to the vehicle that had gone through the shop front. Our primary role was to make the scene safe, removing some glass to safely remove the vehicle from the shop front.
Emergency crews working hard to secure the scene. Then the car was slowly pulled out and towed away. But in its wake, extensive damage. The business roped off, much of it left in pieces.
It's not a common practice, especially here us in Kingston with vehicles going through shop fronts, but we have had it here in this complex in the past.
With the owner now facing a mammoth clean-up effort, he says it was just lucky no one was in this section of the shop at the time the incident occurred.
If they had been, they'd probably been killed. It was rather loud and gave me a good old shock.
He's had a lucky escape, but it will be a long road ahead for this popular local business. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A man is assisting police after a family argument ended in a shooting in the state's north. Officers were called to Lilydale Road in Underwood after a 35-year-old man was shot in the arm.
This injury was non-life-threatening and the male has had surgery at the Launceston General Hospital.
Police say the shooting was an isolated incident with no risk to the general public. A pregnant woman was allegedly assaulted in front of children following a fight at Launceston's Tail Race Park. Police say the altercation took place just before 8 p.m. on Saturday evening. It came after another woman reportedly pushed and harassed children at a gathering. A 36-year-old woman is now assisting police. Welcome back. While there's no doubt a lot has changed in the past 100 years, one Hobart business has proven a love of reading can stand the test of time. Fuller's Bookshop has celebrated a century of sales, and despite the industry facing some tough times, its loyal customers have kept the much-loved store up and running.
This has long been a haven for Tasmania's avid readers, and today Australia's oldest independent bookshop, Fuller's, celebrated a very special milestone, its 100th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Hooray!
Bill Fuller opened the Hobart shop in 1920. Back then it looked very different. His family still has fond memories of their grandfather, who passed along a love of books.
He was involved in radio, he was a pioneer in radio, as was my grandmother. He was in theatre, and he was such a good storyteller.
We grew up with books, I love books and I love bookshops, and to think that this has lasted 100 years is just extraordinary.
I more or less kind of grew up in this bookshop. I was coming down here hoping to sort books and wrap books and read books.
The shop moved several times in its 100-year history, even opening a second store in Launceston.
I remember coming to Fuller's in 1964 and Dad spending £80, which was a lot of money, and he walked out of the shop saying, "Oh, that's a proper bookshop." And so I've always had this thing about Fuller's.
Now Clive has been running the business for almost 40 years. As the industry faces tough times, he said the shop has evolved to include a cafe and its signature events for authors, both famous and aspiring. But there's no denying trends have changed.
Still good fiction works, yeah. There's a few things that have disappeared, like we don't sell nearly as many atlases as we used to because people use Google Maps. Dictionaries still work, dictionaries still sell well.
The store now ready to take on its next chapter. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A quirky take on a popular sport has hit Tasmania, with locals out today trialling Woodball in a first for the country. Organisers say the golf-like game is growing momentum across the world and it's hoped Australia is next.
Having a hit out on the links in a game of golf with a twist, as this new global sport rolls onto Tasmanian soil as a tester for the nation.
It's an opening day to promote this new sport we're bringing into Australia called Woodball. It's designed and played and scored exactly the same as golf, and we are bringing it into Redbanks and to Tasmania.
Played with a wooden club and a 90-centimetre wooden ball, the golf hybrid was first discovered by the head of outdoor site Redbanks during a trip to Thailand.
It was only by chance that I discovered it in Bangkok. I just walked into a sporting complex because sport's my life, and discovered this sport where most people would never even see it being played.
An eager crowd of all ages out getting into the full swing of the game, including the State Sport Minister.
The launch here today, it's the first time any of us have played, and it is so much fun. I see the appeal straight away. Lots of fun, quick, competitive.
This interesting take on golf has been a huge hit across Asia, Europe and the United States, and it's hoped Australian players will give it a crack, with the sport pioneered right here in Tasmania.
We want to get it introduced to schools as a school sport. Because as an activity, it'd be great because all kids could participate.
Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, if you went to Deloraine today, the chances are you struggled to find a car place. More than 500 classic cars filled the streets for the town's 4th annual car show. Organisers have almost run out of space, with the event growing larger each year.
From the front, it looks normal, but around the back...
A coffin stays in there permanently.
Must be hard doing your grocery shopping with this.
Oh, nah, not a grocery car. Not a grocery car at all.
The 1973 Holden 2-tonne is Paul's pride and joy. Just one of 500 eye-catching cars at the Deloraine Street Car Show. The old, the older, or a little bit of both.
Betsy's a 1946 Bedford, and it's been put on a 1988 Nissan Patrol chassis and running gear.
Graham Fisher loves his Jaguar so much, he wears it on his shirt.
The wife's the same. We walk around with our shirts and people notice it and they say, oh yeah, relate me to the car.
The Stingrays soaked up the sun, others flew the flag for the Minis. Even ride-on lawnmowers made the cut.
It's just getting bigger. We can't actually fit any more cars in. This has reached saturation.
What counts for a classic car is anyone's guess.
Oh, it's totally changed. We're up to 1988, but you know, your Commodores, your Japanese markets becoming big now, the Datsuns and things you never thought would be collectible are collectible, worth good money.
If you had deep pockets, you could drive one home, but forget about Graham's wheels.
You're going to sell it, and then I think, no. You're going to sell it? No. So I took myself out of it.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
An historic Tasmanian site has today been honoured with the 135th anniversary firing of the cannon at Belle Reve Fort. Tour guides dressing in military uniforms of the past to display historical weapons, setting the tradition off with a bang.
Well, if you come here on your own, all you see is a couple of guns on a mount and tunnels which you can't get into, and what we're trying to achieve is making the place live. And they see what it was for, what people did, what equipment they used.
The fort was originally built between 1871 and 1885 to protect Hobart. 2 major equestrian events in Hobart have brought together some of Tasmania's most talented exhibitors, all competing for top spot. The Hobart Breed Show is a chance for owners to prepare their horses for a competitive environment before their main test at the Royal Hobart Show in October. A team of judges handed out more than $2,000 in prizes in a range of different categories.
Each breed has its own specific traits, so generally judges are looking for well-conformed horses, straight legs, clean limbs, good colour, good skin, good manners.
Money raised from the event will go towards bringing a British equestrian expert in to judge this year's main show. Tasmania has lost its Sheffield Shield clash with Queensland despite a more competitive effort in its second innings. Following a first innings capitulation on day one, the Tigers were always going to be up against it. The lower order stood up with Ben McDermott top scoring with 69, Tim Payne scoring 61 and Bo Webster chipping in with 50. The Bulls made to chase just 58 runs to secure a 10-wicket victory.
Good evening everyone. Sunny across the state today with Launceston the top of 24 degrees, 23 in Devonport, Burnie 20 and 17 in Hobart. Strahan reaching 23 today, Ouse 22, 21 in Low Head and 20 degrees on Flinders and King Island and also Friendly Beaches. Low level cloud today around parts of the east and upper west coast. The rest of the state was relatively cloud free. Across the rest of the country, low-level clouds sat over the southern half of Victoria and along the New South Wales coast, mid to low-level cloud across the southwest of Western Australia. Tomorrow's chart shows a high-pressure system to the south of Tasmania, while a cold front moves over the Bight and brushes the coast of South Australia. Easterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots about northern and southern waters and tending south to southeasterly during the evening. Hobart and Dover 20 tomorrow, 24 in Ouse, Launceston sunny and 24, 20 in Devonport and Scottsdale 22, 19 in Burnie, partly cloudy in Strahan and Stanley 20, and in the east 28 in St Helens, Swansea 19 and Ross reaching 23. The UV for tomorrow is very high across the state. Looking on to Tuesday now, showers in the west extending statewide during the morning, showers on Wednesday clearing in the north, and on Thursday, showers about the west and far south. 32 in Perth tomorrow, sunny in Melbourne and Adelaide, and showers across Canberra and Sydney. And currently, Hobart mostly sunny and 17 degrees, 21 and sunny in Launceston, and Devonport 18 and also sunny. And that's the weather tonight.
Thank you for that, Chelsea. Before we leave you tonight to some breaking news, a 36-year-old female has been arrested and charged with assault over an altercation at Tail Race Park in Riverside last night. Meanwhile, a 40-year-old man has been arrested and charged over an alleged shooting incident in Underwood last night. That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. Good night.